People say that Mary was a formal person and often reserved, but she was also capable of great tenderness.
Every morning, I would get up and get in bed with her. And this is a small bed. She slept in a single bed. And I would get in bed with her and get under the covers and just cozy up with her as she was having her breakfast. And the scent of the roses from the rose garden would come wafting in through the windows. And it was just heaven. I called her for many years grandmother. Rather than granny or nanny or something else, it was grandmother. She was tall and slim and very elegant looking. And she had this huge grand house. And whenever we had holidays together, everything was done with the silver and the fine china. So it was sort of like walking into a fairy tale when I would come to visit with her. I always sort of imagined that I was off at a castle when I was visiting grandmother with the cook and the maid and playing princess. I just remember feeling sad the one time that I saw my grandfather really snap at her. I felt very sad for her, and that was the first time that I ever became aware that there was any difficulty between them.
Mother had a little old pastry table in the kitchen at 10 Cluny, and we were sitting having a cup of tea and a mug there, and I said, well, Mom, it's coming up to your 50th wedding anniversary, and if we're going to celebrate that in April, we need to book a club now, get the space. And I don't have, it's the only time I ever saw her like this. She banged her cup on the table full force, it clattered because it was a tin top. And she said, I will not be here. I will not be in the country. I have nothing to say thank you for in these 50 years or to celebrate.
There was no plans to celebrate the 50th wedding anniversary. Thankfully, Father died at 49 and a half years of marriage, and that saved us from having to do something. But Mother did not want it.
And I walked into the house, and my brothers were all sitting around the dining room table, and Mother stood up like the matriarch and said, your father is dead. And my reaction was to laugh, because that guy wanted to live forever, and he hadn't made it. And somehow, you know, he was not going to be immortal. And I just thought, oh, Dad, you know, too bad. Good try. Well, the Sunday after Father was buried, Mother said to me, get the letters. She didn't say whose letters, where the letters were, but I knew there were 2 Bren Gunn Second World War chests in the basement, and that they were full of letters, some of which were from Jean. And when my mother and I went through that box of letters, she opened and read them and looked at them, and then we threw them into this fireplace here. And at the end, this was done almost in silence. I was on the floor handing her letters as she was sitting in a chair, for she was 75 at the time.